Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare In progress. Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Nam Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Sankirtan.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So wonderful kirtan. Shambro. Thank you. So thank you very much for everyone coming this Friday satsang. So we'll be having a series, continuing our series with Srimad Bhagavatam study, deep study. We are going in a very slow pace, so we can learn a lot of things. Okay, we are not hurrying up. So please concentrate and come forward if you can, please, so that the discussion will be more interactive. So today it will be led by Shyam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanam Samharim Pranamamyaham. Hare Krishna. So as continuing our Srimad Bhagavatam series, well, in the last couple of sessions we saw about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam from Padma Purana, which in great detail describes about Mahatmya, Bhagavata Mahatmya. So we were talking about how Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam came about. There were 3 times when Bhagavatam was spoken as given in Padma Purana. The first time was when Shukadeva Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. Second time, when Gokarna spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to liberate his brother Dundukari, his Pretatma. And the third time was 4 Kumaras of Lord Brahma, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumar. So especially Sanat Kumar leads the Bhagavatam Katha to revive Jnana and Vairagya. So we also saw in Bhagavatam Mahatmya, every canto has a Phalashruti. So here at the end of every canto, there is a description about if one intently hears Srimad Bhagavatam, what they derive, what Phalashruti, what Phala they can get. But as we know, as Krishna also says, one should not aspire to hear Srimad Bhagavatam for any phala, for any fruitive results. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate Puranam, which can give us the love of Godhead. So our endeavor has to be to please Krishna. Through the Shravana of Bhagavatam, we have to develop that attachment for Krishna. We have to develop that love for Krishna. So that should be our purpose. And whatever fruitive results that are mentioned, they will come. But a devotee is not particularly interested or seeking to hear Srimad Bhagavatam for those fruitive results. So today we will look at the first canto. So what we want to do is briefly cover an overview of what is covered in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So first canto has 19 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the very first shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, it starts with this. Please repeat. Janmadhyasya yatonmaya itaratashcha arsheshu abhignaya swaran ine brahma hridaya adi kavaye muhyantiyam surayah tejo varimridam yata vinimayo yatra trisargo amrusha dhamna svena tada nirastakuhakam satyam param dhimahi. So the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it starts with Janma Adi Asyaha Yataha. So what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is about that person, Yataha. Who is that? From whom Janma Adi Asya. Asya means of this material world. Janma Adi, the creation and everything else. So when there is creation, there is also sustenance, there is destruction. So Srimad Bhagavatam is about, it gives us the information about a person, or Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has created this material world. That is the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Janmadi Asya Yataha. So what is our part in this? It is given in the last part of the first shloka, which is Satyam Param Dhimahi. What we have to do? Dhimahi. Meditate upon that Supreme Lord. Think about that Supreme Lord. Who is He? He is Satyam Param. Param Satyam. He is the highest truth. So The entire Srimad Bhagavatam is summarized in these two, the beginning and end of the first shloka, right? So then, what else Bhagavatam contains? What else is there in Srimad Bhagavatam? That is also covered in the second shloka. So the second shloka says, Dharma projita kaitavo atra. Dharma projita kaitavo atra. Okay, you can repeat. Dharma projita kaitavo atra.
Dharma projita kaitavo atra.
Paramo nirmatsaranam satam.
Paramo nirmatsaranam satam.
Vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam.
Vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam.
Tapatrayonmulanam.
Tapatrayonmulanam.
Srimad Bhagavate.
Srimad Bhagavate.
Mahamuni krite. Kim vaparai ishwarai. Sadyo hrudi. Avarudhyate. Atra krutibihi. Shushrushubhihi. Takshanat. So, what else is the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam? It says dharma. What kind of dharma? It says projita kaitavaha dharma. So this dharma, which is again it is said dharma projita kaitavo atra paramoha, parama dharma, the highest, the supreme dharma, which is projita kaitavaha. Kaitava means all the cheating, all the mixing, which is impure. So that kaitava, that what is not pure, what is impure, projita, that is all removed, that kind of dharma, and that dharma is paramaha. So Srimad Bhagavatam contains Shubhadam Vastu Atra, the subject, the substance that is in Bhagavatam is Paramaha Dharmaha, that which is supreme dharma. And then it says it is only understood Vedyam Nirmatsaranam Satam. So this is actually dedicated or given and only can be understood completely by Satam, very pious people. Nirmatsaranam, who are non-envious. So it's giving the qualification that we have to elevate ourselves in order to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, in order to actually taste the real, to get the real taste of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the qualification? Nirmatsaranam. One has to be non-envious. Then, what does it do? If you engage in serving Srimad Bhagavatam, it says Tapatraya Unmilanam. So, Tapatraya, we know there are three tapas that affect us. There is Adi Bhaudika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Atmika Klesha, or tapas. It says Tapatraya Unmulanam. It doesn't say Shamanam. Shamanam is reducing. Just like there is fever, you get fever reducers. You take some medicine, it reduces fever. It doesn't remove fever. But Srimad Bhagavatam, it says Unmulanam. It roots it out. Mula is root. Unmulanam is it uproots what? Tapatraya. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is very important. So, the Parama Dharma, the highest Dharma that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, if we are able to sincerely follow, sincerely hear, then what does it do? Unmulanam Tapatraya. Then what happens? Sadhyaha, immediately, Hrudi Avarudyate Ishwaraha. Supreme Lord, Ishwara, Hrudi, in our heart, Avarudyate, he resides. Krishna is there in heart of everyone. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayasharjana Tishtati. Krishna is there in everyone's heart, but we are unable to either perceive or understand that Krishna is there. So how do we actually understand? How do we then realize Krishna within our heart? Srimad Bhagavatam helps. That is why it says, if you understand Parama Dharma that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, then Ishvaraha Sadhyaha Hrudi Avarudyate. That Supreme Lord who is in the heart. Sadhyaha, immediately he becomes revealed to us. So, how difficult it is. This is talking about the Supreme Lord. It is talking about Parama Dharma. It is talking about the highest truth. Is it very difficult to understand? Is it very difficult to hear? So that is given in the next shloka. These first three shlokas are considered the strong foundation of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why these first three shlokas one should meditate constantly. So the third shloka talks about how Srimad Bhagavatam has been made so easy for us to absorb. So he says, you can repeat. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam Shukamugad amruta dravya sanyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhurapi Rasikaha Bhuvi Bhavukaha. So, information about Lord Krishna that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the highest dharma given in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. They say this is phalam. This is the fruit. What kind of fruit? Galitam Phalam. It is fruit that has ripened. Usually, any fruit, if it is not ripened, it doesn't taste well. It doesn't taste good, right? Only when the fruit ripens, its taste is the best. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is Galitam Phalam. It is the fruit that has ripened. What kind of fruit is it? It is said, Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. It is Kalpataru. Taru is a tree. Kalpataru is a tree that it's called desire fulfilling tree. Whatever desires you have, the desires can be fulfilled by Kalpataru. So any desire you have, you can ask the Kalpataru and it gives you the desire. So the tree, what kind of tree it is? It is said Nigama. Nigama is Vedas. So the essence of all Vedas, when this is the tree, then the essence of the Vedas that gives rise to a fruit, that ripened fruit is what Srimad Bhagavatam is. And then it says, Pibata Rasam. It says, fruit can be sometimes, even though it is ripened, it is difficult to eat, right? But then if somebody takes the fruit and makes a juice out of it, it is even easier to consume. It is even easier to have that fruit. So it says rasam. This rasam is always already prepared by what? By who? Shukamukad. And this rasam is coming from Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami, having heard this from his father, Sri Vyasadeva, is giving this after having fully realized, after having fully understood. So that is why he has simplified this. This rasam is coming, and what is this rasam? Amrutam. This is nectar. And this nectar can only be experienced by, again, what we said, nirmatsaranam satam. So, Nigama kalpataror galitam palam shukamukad amrita dravya samyutam pibata Bhagavatam. This Bhagavatam rasam, this fruit rasam is alayam. It is not only drunk here in material world, but it is also the taste is sought after by liberated personalities also. Alayam means till you get liberated, are also in the state of liberation. That is how important Srimad Bhagavatam is. So it's very important to meditate on these three shlokas. So as we continue, we will actually go in detail about these shlokas one by one. So today, we just look at the summary of what to expect in the first canto. The 19 chapters that are in first canto, broadly what it covers. So this is the first three shlokas, then starts the actual Srimad Bhagavatam in the form of a story. So the story is, there is Naimisharanya, where sages headed by Shaunaka Muni, they are engaged in tapas, a yajna, which is scheduled for 1,000 years. And again, what is the purpose of the yajna? All of them have assembled in Naimisharanya because they have understood Kali Yuga has come about. Because if you see, there are various accounts where they say Kali Yuga started right when Lord Krishna left the planet. Some say Kali Yuga started the day Kurukshetra war ended. But obviously, Kali Yuga, even though it started when Krishna was here, it hadn't shown its full colors as we see today. So these sages were very vividly aware of the ill effects of Kali Yuga. So being very compassionate to the people that will come later in Kali Yuga, for their benefit, they were performing this 1,000-year sacrifice. So when they were doing this sacrifice, Suta Goswami comes. Suta Goswami is also one other name. His other name is Ugra Shrava. Why? Because Shrava means hearing. Ugra means very strong, or he's very strictly hearing, very strict, very strong. The story about Ugra Shrava is also very important, very interesting. So there is Srila Vyasadeva. Vyasadev's disciple is Romaharshana Sutta. And Vyasadeva, all the 18 Puranas and Upapuranas that Vyasadeva compiles, they were given to Romaharshana Sutta. And Romaharshana Sutta was very well learned. So once Romaharshana Sutta was actually sitting on Vyasasana and then talking about the Krishna Katha, Puranas. So at that time, Lord Balram walks in. Lord Balram, when he walks in, all the assembled sages that were in the audience, they naturally get up and receive Sri Balramji and offer obeisances. But Romaharshana Sutta, because he was sitting on Vyasasana, he thinks, oh, I'm speaking, I don't have to get up. And Balramji takes offense to it. He gets very angry. Balramji takes a small blade of grass, and then he throws at Romaharshana Sutta. The blade of grass separates Romaharshana Sutta's head. Romaharshana Sutta is killed. So the essence of the story is, even if one is sitting on Vyasasana speaking, if a guru comes or if an exalted personality comes, the person has to get up and offer obeisances, offer respects. And Balramji wanted to give that lesson. Now, all the assembled sages there, they then pray to Balramji, saying, this Romaharshana Sutta was very well learned, and he did commit an offense, and you punished him for it. Please somehow show him some sadgati. So what Lord Balramji does, Balramji says, I'm not going to forgive Romaharshana Sutta But because he was speaking on Vyasasana, and when somebody is speaking on Vyasasana or performing yajna, there is a special protection that Narshingari provides. So because of that, what I'll do is, I will transfer all that knowledge to his son. His son is Ugrashrava, Suta Goswami. So all that knowledge was then transferred to Ugrashrava, Romaharshana Suta. And this is why Romaharshana Suta is so well learned. So when Suta Goswami, he's also called Suta Goswami. So when Suta Goswami comes into Naimisharanya, where these sages were performing the yajna, he is well received by Shaunaka and all the munis. They make him sit in Vyasasana and then they ask questions. The first thing that they start is, now we know that the Kali Yuga has come. And then they describe the effects of Kali Yuga. They say, Kalau asmin yuge janaha sabhyaha. They say, Kale asmin yuge janaha sabhyaha mandaha sumanda matayo manda bhagyahi upadrataha. They say the characteristics of people in Kali Yuga. They say they are sumandaha, they are very dull. Manda bhagyaha, they are very unlucky. And then upadrataha, they are always in stress. They are always in some or the other kind of problems, difficulties. So what should be done? Because this is the effect of Kali. So then they say there are so many scriptures. Bhuri Karmani. There are so many scriptures, and then there are so many things that scriptures talk about, which are confusing, which are conflicting. That if one has to perfect his life, we have to depend on scriptures. But scriptures are huge. Scriptures give us information that are sometimes conflicting. Scriptures give us so many options. So what should one do? So they say, because you are well learned, because you have the grace of your gurus, because you are surrendered to your gurus, you have understood the essence of all this. So please give us the essence of all this, that in Kali Yuga, what is the dharma? Especially because Lord Krishna has now left the planet. They all had seen Lord Krishna. They were very close to Lord Krishna's presence. So now they know Lord Krishna has departed. So they are saying, because Lord Krishna has departed, as long as Lord Krishna was there was no worries. We were all surrendered to him. Kali had no effect. But now he is gone. What should we surrender to? Krishna swathama upagate kam gatim kam sharanam dharma gacchati. They are asking, dharma has taken shelter of whom? Who will protect dharma now? Now that Krishna has left, Kali will show his powers now completely. Whose protection now we have to seek? How do we understand what is dharma and what is not dharma? Please talk about this. And they specifically request Suta Goswami to talk about Krishna, because Krishna was there, in front of them. He performed all their leelas, all the leelas. All the sages were very attached to Krishna. So they were eager to know more about Krishna, even though they had seen Krishna. Some of them personal association with Krishna. This is the attachment that they had with Krishna. They say, Krishna just came. We want to hear more about Krishna. So tell us more about Krishna. So then Suta Goswami starts speaking. He says, I'm glad that you are asking me this. And then Suta Goswami begins by saying what is one's ultimate dharma. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshajai ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. He answers first by saying, what is the highest dharma that one should follow? It says, Savai Pumsam. Pumsam is of all the human beings. Sa, that, why, indeed, Paro Dharmaha, the highest dharma. What is it? Yataha, that which Bhaktir Adhokshaje. Adhokshaja is one other name for Krishna. So the highest dharma of human beings is what? Bhaktir Adhokshaje. To perform bhakti to Krishna. Why? Because only when we perform bhakti to Krishna, by that process, Atma, we are Jivatmas. Suprasidati. Prasidati means one who is satisfied, one who is happy. Suprasidati means one is completely satisfied. So only bhakti to the Supreme Lord is completely satisfying to the spirit soul, the Atma. So Sudha Goswami says this is the highest dharma that you have to follow. And he says the dharma, I'll just get a little more detail into this other verse. It says dharmasya hi apavargyasya na artho arthaya upakalpate. So what dharma should be used for, how dharma should be understood, because there are so many scriptures, it's conflict, there are so many conflicts, confusions, what is dharma, what is not dharma. So Suta Goswami says dharmasya hi apavargasya. He says there is pavarga and apavarga. Pa-varga means in alphabets we have pa, pa, ba, bha, ba. Those 5 letters, they are called pavarga. They are varga, they are one group. So pavarga means what is, it describes the entanglement that we go through in this material world. Pa means parishrama. So in material world, all of us are struggling. Parishrama is always there is struggle. And then fa, pa. Second pa means fena. Fena means foaming. Like you've seen when horses, especially in India, it is very common sight. There are these carts drawn by horses and bullocks. When they work hard, when they're carrying, when they're dragging these carts for too long, they start foaming from the mouth. That is fena. So, human form of life in Kali Yuga becomes like that. We work hard, so hard that our mouth literally foam is coming out, but then we don't give up. So this is the ill effect of Kali. So Parishrama, Fena. Then Ba. Ba is Bandha. We are bound. Bound to what? Whatever is associated with these material bodies. We are bound to property, we are bound to house, we are bound to children, we are bound to our jobs. So these are the ill effects of Kali Yuga. Then Bha. Bha is Bhaya. For every little thing, there is a fear that sits within our heart. What happens tomorrow? What happens if I lose my job? What happens if the gas rate goes up? What happens if the market collapses? There is Bhaya. And then the final one, Ma, Mrityu. Everyone is scared of Mrityu. This is Pavarga. Pavarga talks about what material existence is. So, dharma given in scriptures is for apavarga, means opposite of what pavarga is. So, if we want to get transcend this pavarga, the problems in the material world, it is called apavarga, the opposite of pavarga. So, what is dharma? That which actually gives us freedom from parishrama, fena, bandha, bhaya, mrityu. So that which liberates us from the material existence, the difficulties of material existence, that is apavarga. So Suta Goswami is saying, dharmasya, the purpose of dharma is apavarga, means liberation from this material universe, liberating ourselves from this material existence. Na artho arthaya upakalpate, not for the purpose of na artha, not for the purpose of arthaya. For artha means money there. Upakalpate, we should not use it for accumulating wealth for only thinking about money. So he says that is the purpose of dharma, that is what you have to follow. So having said that, Suta Goswami talks about how he is just now coming from the bank of Ganges, where Shukadeva Goswami narrated Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So he says, all these questions you asked about, dharma, Kali Yuga is coming, Krishna has left, what is dharma, whose shelter should we take? All these questions were answered, especially Krishna's pastimes, were actually covered by this Bhagavatam Katha that Parikshit Maharaj was given by Shukadeva Goswami. So just heard that. I'm coming from there. So let me narrate that and it will satisfy you. So that is how he starts narrating Srimad Bhagavatam. So now, when he says that, Shaunika Muni asks, Shaunak Muni is asking, what happened? Tell us, how did Srimad Bhagavatam come about? How did Bhagavatam come to Shukadeva Goswami? What happened? How Shukadeva Goswami, why he had to give it to Parikshit Maharaj? You tell us in detail all these things. Shaurya Muni asks him. So this is where the story starts. So he starts telling about how Srimad Bhagavatam came about. So that is where he starts telling about the story of Narad Muni. We've heard the story. Narad Muni coming to Srila Vyasadeva and then asking Srila Vyasadeva to compile Srimad Bhagavatam as the 18th Purana. All the 17 Puranas were already compiled by Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni says, my father, Lord Brahma, gave me this 4 shlokas. It's called Shatushloki Bhagavatam. So those 4 shlokas, I'll give it to you. And you expand on those 4 shlokas. So those 4 shlokas are given to Srila Vyasadeva. And then Narad Muni, before giving that, explains how Srimad Bhagavatam and how association with Srimad Bhagavatam can be liberating. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is book Bhagavatam, which is Krishna himself. Also, Srimad Bhagavatam, also a person is Srimad Bhagavatam. A person who has inculcated the teachings, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam in his activities, in his behavior, he is also Bhagavatam. So Narad Muni says how his association in his previous life with Bhagavatas, with great devotees, actually liberated him so that he could now in this life become Lord Brahma's son and have constant association of Supreme Lord. So he says, Bhagavatam is so potent. So please compile the Bhagavatam so that Bhagavatam can be passed on to people, especially in Kali Yuga, that can benefit greatly from all this. So then, Srimad Bhagavatam describes, Suta Goswami describes about Krishna more. Suta Goswami describes about 22 incarnations of Krishna. We know Dashavataras, starting from Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Vamana, Narsimha. Now, there are other incarnations like Yagna Namaka, there is Supreme Lord's incarnation, there is Kapila, there is Prithu Maharaj. All these incarnations are described in one chapter by Suta Goswami, saying these are various incarnations out of unlimited incarnations that the Supreme Lord has. And he says the source of all these incarnations is Lord Krishna himself. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So then, after describing how Srimad Bhagavatam came about and Sri Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, gave it to his son Shukadeva Goswami. Now he has to describe how Shukadeva Goswami gave it to Parikshit Maharaj. What made Parikshit Maharaj actually receive Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami? So that story starts with the Mahabharata story. So the war has ended. The 18 days of Kurukshetra war has ended. And then now Krishna is getting ready to leave for Dwaraka, because Krishna stayed till the war ended and then took care of saving, protecting Pandavas. Now when Krishna is about to leave for Dwaraka, he sees Mother Uttara come running. She's coming, running, seeking help from Krishna. She's saying, Krishna, please save me. There is this big fireball that is coming to burn my womb. So Uttara is Abhimanyu's wife, and by the time Abhimanyu got killed in the war, Uttara was already carrying their child. So Parikshit Maharaj was already in the womb of Uttara. Now, what happened after Duryodhana died and everything? Ashwatthama he gave a promise to Duryodhana, saying that he will make Pandavas Nissantati, that their progeny would not exist. And Duryodhana asks this particular boon, and Ashwatthama says, yes, I'll fulfill that boon. So he kills 5 sons of Draupadi, Mother Draupadi. And then now he remembers that Uttara has Abhimanyu's son, and that is going to continue. So Pandava Santati is going to continue. So what he does, he uses Brahmastra to kill Parikshit Maharaj, who is in Uttara's womb. So Mother Uttara comes, and Krishna, he tells he actually directs what's his name? I'm sorry, I forget him. Who threw the Brahmastra? Ashwatthama. He tells Ashwatthama that please retrieve this, take this back, Brahmastra. Ashwatthama doesn't listen, and there is this. I think it's in Mahabharata. I've heard that he says, Krishna, I know you are very cunning. I know why you actually instigated me to kill Draupadi's 5 sons. And you actually, when Krishna was 18 days, what happened? Everyone on Kaurava's side died. Pandava's side, 5 Pandavas remained. Upa-Pandavas remained. Nobody could touch them, right? So the 18th day, when war ended, on that night, Ashwatthama enters Pandava's Shibiram, and then he kills everyone. There are thousands of thousands that he kills alone. And he's now saying to Krishna, it's all planned by you, because you let me do that. 17 days you didn't let them get killed. 18th day you let me kill them. Why? Because you're partial to your own sister. Why? Because Abhimanyu is Krishna's sister's son. So you're thinking if Draupadi's sons become kings, then your sister's progeny will not become king. That is why you made me kill them. So this is how convoluted Ashwatthama's thinking was. And obviously Krishna had to never think about it, right? Everything belongs to Krishna. So why you should think about, giving some, I mean, if he wanted, he could create a universe and give it to his sister's son or grandson, right? But anyways, so he says, no, I won't take. I won't retrieve the weapon. So Krishna finally enters Mother Uttara's womb. And actually it is described in Puranas that womb is a very dark place. So it is said, Asurya namate loka andhena tamasa vritaha tanste pretyabhi gachanti ekecho atmahano janaha andhena tamasa vritaha. The womb, it is so dark, you don't see anything, right? But then Parikshit Maharaj was so fortunate, he's able to see Krishna, brightly lit womb, Krishna is protecting Parikshit Maharaj with, wielding his gada and chakra. Within the womb, Parikshit Maharaj is able to see Krishna. So that is why he is called Parikshita. Paritaha means all around. He was able to see Krishna going around Parikshit Maharaj and then protecting Parikshit Maharaj from Brahmastra. So that is why he is called Paritaha Ikshitaha. Ikshitatvat Parikshitaha. So the womb is protected because Krishna is present. Brahmastra doesn't burn or kill Parikshit Maharaj. Now what happens? Once it is said, once Mother Uttara, okay, so this is what happens then. So at that time, everyone understands that Krishna is able to protect Parikshit Maharaj. And then Mother Kunti comes there. And Mother Kunti offers these beautiful prayers. There are one whole chapter of prayers that Mother Kunti offers. There is this famous prayer, Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. These beautiful prayers Mother Kunti is offering to Krishna. You have heard all these prayers. And then Mother Kunti is remembering that how Krishna so mercifully protected Mother Kunti and Pandavas every step. She remembers how when Pandavas were poisoned, Krishna protected. How when Pandavas were put in the house of lac, Krishna protected them. How Pandavas, when they were in, after escaping from the Laksha Griha, they were in forest. Hidimba came, big Rakshasas. Kirmira came. These are powerful Rakshasas, but Krishna protected all of them. And Mother Kunti remembers this very particular when one incident where Mother Draupadi was being disturbed in the assembly, and Krishna protected. So Krishna protected them every time, and including now when Uttara's Garbha was protected. So Mother Kunti is very grateful. So she's offering all these prayers. Then she's praying. There is this one very beautiful, famous prayer. Vipata Santu Shashwat Tatra Tatra Jagatpate Bhavata Darshanad Yatsyat Apunar Bhava Darshanam. She says Vipada Santu Shashwat. Vipadaha, dangers. She's saying Santuta Shashwat. Let the dangers, calamities come always. Shashwat. Why? Tatra Tatra Jagatpate. Whenever these calamities come, we remember you. Then what happens? Tatra Tatra Jagatpate Bhavata Darshanam. You give us your darshanam. You come to us to protect. Yat Syat. Because of your darshanam, what happens? Punar Bhava Darshanam. Bhava is this material universe. So Apunar Bhava Darshanam, we don't have to come back to this material universe. That means we'll go back to Krishna. So one who constantly remembers Krishna, this is the meditation of Mother Kunti. One who constantly remembers Krishna, not only at in the time of difficulties, calamities, but one who constantly remembers. Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. Then Apunar Bhavadarshanam. One can surely go back. So now, having pacified all of them, Lord Krishna gets ready to leave for Dwaraka. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj comes running. He says, Krishna, I want to give up everything. I want to go to forest. Why? Because of me, millions of people died in the war. Because of me, because I wanted the kingdom, I want to become the king. The war happened. Because of me, all my relatives died. all my cousins died. Dronacharya died, Bhishmacharya died. I've acquired so much sin. I'm very sinful. I'm not fit to be a king. I want to give up everything. I want to go back to forest. So then Krishna says, you fighting the war was the right thing. So why are you lamenting? But Dharmaraj says, no, it's very sinful. Then Krishna says, if I take you to Bhishma Dev, and if Bhishma Dev says what you did was right, will you listen to that? Will you accept that? Yudhishthira Maharaj says, okay, unwillingly. So Krishna takes all the Pandavas to Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev is still lying on the bed of arrows. 56 days after the war ended, Bhishma Dev lies on the bed of arrows. So Krishna takes all of them and then says, see, this is what Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking. Do you think he is right in thinking he is sinful in waging this war of Kurukshetra? Bhishma says, no, you're right. In fact, I'm so proud of you, Pandavas, because you stood for dharma and fought this war. Had you not fought this war, I would be so ashamed of all of you. So he says, you are all righteous. You did the right thing. So dharma, then Yudhishthira Maharaj becomes consoled. Then for two entire parvas, Mahabharata has 18 parvas, and two entire parvas, Bhishma Dev instructs Dharmaraja, Yudhishthira, about various dharmas, Raja Dharma, how one has to perform his kingly duties, what one has to do. All these are done. Now, then the birth of Parikshit Maharaj happens. So what happens? Parikshit Maharaj is born. When Parikshit Maharaj takes birth, when he comes out of the womb, he's dead. And then Krishna takes Parikshit Maharaj in his hand. And in Mahabharata, this story comes. Krishna says, if Krishna is actually taking oath. He's saying, if I've been righteous, if I've never did anything wrong, let this child come back to life. And then Parikshit Maharaj comes back to life. It says, Punaha Ujjiyavamasa. So the child was born dead, but Krishna actually gives life back to Parikshit Maharaj. Now later on, Yudhishthira Maharaj, there is story of Dhritarashtra, how he leaves the palace and then he goes to the forest, spends his last days in the forest, and eventually in the association of Vidura, they leave. Vidura, Mother Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Mother Gandhari, and Mother Kunti, they all actually leave this material world in the forest fire and then go back to guarded. So this description is given. And then there is beautiful description of when Krishna leaves for Dwaraka. There is how he was sent off from Hastinavati. Beautiful description of that is given. Then when Lord Krishna reaches Dwaraka, they are all happy. How Dwaraka Vasis receive Krishna. A very beautiful description of the exchanges and the love that these devotees had for Krishna is described in those strips. And then there is story of how Krishna leaves the planet. So there is this curse by Mother Gandhari, and because of the curse, Krishna designs the exit of Yadus by fighting each other on the banks of in Prabhasa Kshetra. And then Lord Krishna sends Uddhava with all the knowledge to Badri so that the knowledge can be transferred to everyone for the later use. And then having heard Krishna has left, Pandavas also leave. They coronate Parikshit Maharaj and then they leave. Now the last two chapters talk about how Parikshit Maharaj was so powerful and so dharmic. He was so dharmic. It is explained that he was more capable, or his ruling was even nicer compared to Yudhishthir Maharaj's ruling. He was so capable, and how in his association, um, in his presence, even Kali was afraid. So the last chapter talks about how Kali reveals himself in the presence of Maharaj Parikshit. And so there is this picture painted where a cow and a bull um, is being punished by this person who is dressed as a king. That is Kali himself. So Parikshit Maharaj gets very angry looking at the way the cow and the bull are being treated. So Parikshit Maharaj is about to kill Kali. But Kali then convinces Parikshit Maharaj, saying that this is what actually the will of the Supreme Lord is, that Kali Yuga has to come. So he requests Parikshit Maharaj to give him some place where he could live. So Parikshit Maharaj eventually gives 4 places for Kali Maharaj to reside. It says, Dutam, Panam, Striya, Suna. It says, where there is gambling, Kali lives. Where there is Panam, where there is Panam is where there is consumption of intoxicants. Parikshit Kali lives. Striya, in prostitution, where there is illegitimate connection with women. There Kali lives. And Suna, where there is violence, Kali lives in all these places. Now Kali, one quality of Kali is he is never satisfied. So then Kali asks, I want some more places. Give me one more places. Then Parikshit Maharaj gives him the 5th place. Jata Rupam Adat Prabhu. The gold. So Kali lives in gold also. So but Acharya say gold, when it is used, like for example, we use for Krishna, we make golden crown, golden kavach, and then especially the Mangalya Sutra, according to them, where there is required, a small amount of gold is okay. There is no Kali's influence. Otherwise, a lot of gold means there is Kali's influence. So then finally, the final chapter talks about the curse by Shringi to Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj is in forest hunting, killing these animals that were giving trouble to his population, his subjects. And then he comes to the ashram of this Muni. What's the Muni's name? Sorry, forgetting.
Shamik Muni. Shamik Muni.
No.
Shamik Muni.
Shamik. Thank you, George. Shamik Muni. And Shamik Muni is actually in deep meditation. And Parikshit Maharaj is very thirsty. So he requests Shamik Muni to give some water. But Shamik Muni doesn't leave. Initially, Parikshit Maharaj thinks he's just pretending. Shamik Muni is only pretending. And then he says, let me test if he's pretending or not. So he sees a dead snake. He takes the dead snake and puts it around the neck of Shamik Muni. And obviously, if he was pretending, people would just run. But Shamik Muni didn't. So then Parikshit Maharaj realizes he's in deep meditation. So he leaves. But when he leaves, he starts thinking, I've committed such a big offense to a Brahmana. So I should be punished. So he actually requests, prays that I should be punished properly for this offense. I should give up my life. Then this incident was narrated to Shringi, Shamik Muni's son. He gets angry and he curses Parikshit Maharaj, thinking Parikshit Maharaj was so arrogant that he insulted my father, who was innocent. So then, after knowing this, Parikshit Maharaj gives up his kingdom, coronates his son Janmejaya, and then comes to the Ganges. And then he is asking all the sages, what should he do? So then Shukadeva Goswami walks in. So the one question that that Parikshit Maharaj asked, as we discussed in the last time, Purushasya iha yat karyam mriyamanasya sarvada. Mriyamanasya, one who is destined to die, all of us, Purushasya, of human beings, yat karyam, what they have to do. And second chapter onwards, second canto onwards, Shukadeva Goswami answers this particular question. So let's summarize quickly. The first three verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are the root foundation. One has to meditate on it. So Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Janmadi Asya Yataha, that personality who is the cause of Janma Adi, Asya, of this material universe, creation, sustenance, and annihilation. And what we should do, that personality is Satyam, Satyam Param, that is the absolute truth. Dhimahi, we have to meditate on that Supreme God. And what else is there in Srimad Bhagavatam? Dharma Projita Kaitava Atra Paramaha, Parama Dharma, that highest dharma is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the qualification? If one has to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, Nirmat Saranam Satam, we have to be Satam, pious, Nirmat Saranam, non-envious. And Srimad Bhagavatam is what? Phalitam, Galitam Phalam. It is the ripened fruit of what? Nigama Kalpataror, of a tree, which is the Veda, the vast ocean of knowledge. And then it is Pibata. It is so easy that we don't even have to have the effort of chewing. It can be consumed so easily, Rasam Alayam, till we become liberated also after the liberation. And then the story begins where sages in Naimisharanya asked Suta Goswami, now that Kali Yuga has come about, Krishna has departed, whose shelter we should take, or whose shelter Dharma has taken. And they request specifically to speak about Krishna and his pastimes. So Suta Goswami then says he heard Srimad Bhagavatam, which is stories about Krishna, and he's going to narrate that, and then he starts talking about how Srimad Bhagavatam came about. And the important part, that it is Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. It has the potency to get rid of the effects of Kali. So, want to close there. So, any comments before we close? Anybody who has any reflections want to share?
What is the subject in the Bhagavad Gita have like 5 or 6 Ishwar Prakriti Jeev Karko. What is the what is the element of the Srimad Bhagavatam?
Janmadi Asya Yataha. About Krishna. Everything is about Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the Parama Dharma, that is the second verse. So Srimad Bhagavatam talks about what is the supreme dharma that a human being has to follow. So it gives us information about Krishna and what is the dharma that we have to follow to attain Krishna. So it gives us a tool and it gives us a means and it gives us a goal. The means is follow dharma. What is that dharma? The dharma that is followed by all the devotees throughout the 12 cantos. So it gives us information about what we should do, how we should act, how we should meditate, what we should change, how we should live. That is the means. Srimad Bhagavatam is completely about devotees, how they lived their lives. So how we can live following in their examples. That is the means. And what is the goal? If we are living like this, what is that we are expecting, or what is that the end result? If we are living like this, what we have to achieve? What we have to achieve is Janmadhyasya Yataha. That Satyam, that Param Dhimahi, that Supreme Lord. That is the goal. So we get the means and the goal. Thank you, Parikshit.
I can comment on the same thing.
Okay, Sangha Prabhu has a comment. Okay, the question was, I think, let me repeat for those who are on the call. So, what is Bhagavad Gita has 5 things that are subject. So, what is the main essence or subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam? That was the question. So, Mukta Sangha Prabhu has a comment also.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm sitting in the wrong direction of the mic. Yeah, just a comment. That, as you said rightly, Bhagavad Gita discusses about 5 topics, the entire Bhagavad Gita, right? So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, in these 12 cantos, they discuss various topics, and all of the topics are segregated into 10 categories. Okay, so that is one of the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Atra sargo visargasya sthanam poshanam utaya manvantare ishanukata nirodho muktirashraya. These are the 10 topics. So we will discuss in detail. Actually, it says the creation, primary creation, secondary creation, then poshanam, how he maintains, ultimately how everything is structured. Okay, so there are 10 different topics Srimad Bhagavatam discusses. Bhagavad Gita has 5 topics, Bhagavatam is 10 topics. Okay, so that very clearly in detail is described in that sloka.
I hear that, but I
Atra sargo visargasya sthanam poshanam utaya manvantare ishanukata nirodha muktirashraya. So these are 10 topics. Atra sarga visarga sthanam poshanam utaya manvantare ishanukata nirodha muktirashraya. There are 10 topics. Okay.
Is it which chapter?
I think it is in. Don't get me, but it is, I think, in 3rd chapter or something, 3rd canto. Sorry. Atra sarga visargasya. So 10 topics. Okay, the entire 12 cantos is segregated into these 10 topics. Like now we are talking about, actually now will come next. Creation will come. The primary creation. Lord is the primary creator, but secondary creator is Lord Brahma. So how we did, all the stories will come next. It's very interesting.
And also, I just wanted to say that, just adding to it, nothing big, but the first shloka of Bhagavatam, it's more or less like the headlines in a newspaper. That's what I heard in one of the lectures. So what we are going to study in detail is what has been explained in that shloka.
In fact, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it is said that he spoke this one verse for 64 days. Just this one verse. So in detail, because all the 12 cantos essence is in this one sloka. So he spoke that for 64 days. So we'll take 64 minutes.
Another thing is like, I see all of the scripture, Prabhupada, the mention this sloka especially multiple times for the Janmadhyasya Jatonmaya. But he said the Vedanta Sutra, this sloka, but I see the Bhagavatam already in the first.
It's 2nd canto, 10th chapter, 1st verse. 2nd canto, 10th chapter, 1st verse.
Anyone else? Any other reflections? Maybe next time we'll leave some time for reflection. I took almost like 50 minutes for the. That's it.
How long does Parikshit Maharaj rule the kingdom?
From what I've heard, he was coronated when he was 36 years old, and then for 60 years he ruled. That's one account that I've heard.
It's almost 30 years.
he was 96 years when he was cursed.
Uh,
So 36 years he was coronated. Pandavas were there till he was 36 years old. Then Pandavas departed. Parikshit Maharaj became king. And then after that, 60 years he ruled. Yeah.
Saujanya Mataji has a question.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam, Salkrishna Srila Prabhupada. Sorry we missed in person, but I'm glad about the Zoom session. So Prabhuji, you were mentioning about the Chatur, the four things. I couldn't get in what context of this Bhagavatam that you were mentioning about that. I don't know if you said Chatur Shloka or something Chatur. You said Prabhuji 4.
Chatushloki Bhagavatam. That one, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Lord Brahma gives these 4 shlokas to Narada. This is in the 2nd canto, 5th chapter. Lord Narada goes to Lord Brahma, and there's a conversation where Narada is glorifying Lord Brahma as the supreme creator. And Lord Brahma clarifies and says he is not the supreme creator. And then at that time, these 4 verses are given to Narada, which become the base of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Narad Muni gives these 4 shlokas to Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva expands on those 4 shlokas and compiles the entire Bhagavatam. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes. So you said 2nd canto, 5th chapter?
Those 4 shlokas, I have to find the exact number, Mataji. I can send you the
No
exact
problem.
number.
Whenever if you can put it in the group, that will be really helpful.
Sure, yeah.
And you said that Parikshit Maharaj was, when he was born, he was not alive, right? But then Krishna already protected him when he was in the womb. So is it just like naturally when a Sishu is born, then sometimes they're born dead? Is that, or is there any context there that I missed? Sorry.
Right. What I've heard from Acharyas is Brahmastra is very powerful. And obviously, Lord did not want to insult the power of Brahmastra, because even Brahmastra's power was given to Brahma through the Lord himself. So that is why, even though Lord protected within the womb, when the child was delivered, the Brahmastra's effect had to be there. So that is why, to not insult Brahmastra, the Brahmastra also had its effect, that it was actually used to kill Parikshit Maharaj. So that was also satisfied. So Lord is very merciful to Lord Brahma also. So because the Brahmastra was used to kill Parikshit Maharaj, so that also didn't go waste. But then Supreme Lord again revived Parikshit Maharaj. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. But a quick thought, I don't know, I may be wrong. How come, like, see, you're saying that because to respect the Brahmastra, here, Krishna did like this, but like Brahma gives lot of varas, right? The boons to everyone. But if they misuse, though it is very powerful, but it has to be protected. And that's why Krishna protected. But still, maybe as you said, he was merciful. I don't know, I'm just sharing my thought, Prabhuji. Just a quick thought. Yeah, okay. No, yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. That was helpful. Hare Krishna. And you said Bhagavad Gita 5 and Bhagavatam 10, right? And Bhagavad Gita, what is that 5? Just to refresh. We may have heard it, but it didn't strike to my mind. So I'm sorry, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so it is Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma.
It talks about these 5 mainly. Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Mukta Sakha Prabhu has a comment, Mataji. Let me pass it on.
Sure.
Mataji, the problem is with Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama, was not able to retrieve Brahmastra back because he lost his purity, even though he was a son of a great Harshi, but he was not able to retrieve it back because he lost his purity. When did he lose his purity? Because he said, when Duryodhana asked Ashwatthama that you have to give birth to a son, my son, he says, my son, and destroy these Pandavas. I don't want any Pandavas dynasty to continue. So then Ashwatthama promises Duryodhana saying that yes, I will beget a son. So that means he was a brahmachari, right? He was not married. But how can he get a son? So then the implicit meaning is that then he will get in with Duryodhana's wife and then get a son. So just by saying that he lost his purity. Because he lost his purity, he was not able to retrieve the Brahmastra back.
Please repeat.
Okay, so even though he wanted, but he was not able to retrieve it back.
Yeah, Prabhu,
Okay.
he's trying to again repeat his. I have finished.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
No, Ashwatthama lost his purity because he promised Duryodhana saying that with your wife, I will beget a son who can destroy the entire Pandavas. Because he's a pure Brahmana, he's a brahmachari, he's not married. As soon as he said this, then his purity is lost. Okay, so when his purity is lost, he does not have any power to retrieve it back.
But did it actually happen, Prabhuji?
Yeah, of course. This is
No, did they get the son? That's
no.
No. Oh,
It didn't go that far at all.
got
So
it. Got it. At least the
went that far,
thought.
it ended, so
So because of that bad thought and that promise, he lost his purity because that he should have corrected. Instead, he kind of encouraged.
yeah, he could have got it back. No, because see, even Arjuna, he also left Brahmastra. They were both the Brahmastras fighting together. But Arjuna was able to retrieve back, but not Ashwatthama.
Got it.
You know, when Vyasadeva came and said, retrieve your Brahmastra back, he told both of them. But Arjuna was able to do, but not Ashwatthama, because Ashwatthama lost his purity. He lost his power. Okay, thank you, Bhadraji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah, it was very nice class. Hare Krishna.
Anybody else has any question online or here? Okay, thank you. Big round of applause to Shyam Prabhu. Wonderful session. Thank you very much, Shyam Prabhu. And thank you all online devotees joining this session. Sorry, you're going to miss Prasadam, of course. But
Yes, Prabhuji, sorry.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So we have time for 5 minutes Narsinga prayer or no? Okay, we'll do Narsinga prayer quickly. Online devotee, if you want to
Sure, Prabhuji.
participate. Brinda. Go. Go. Namaste Narasimhaya. Dala dala dadayine. Hiranyakashi purvachaha. Shrilatam
जय श्री श्रीमद भगवान
जय
जय श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की
जय
जय श्री प्रभुपाद की
जय हरि हरि बोल Thank you, devotees online. Hari Bol. See you next week.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.